Okay. The third book of Moses, called Leviticus. So, I probably should have done this before. Probably will forget it. But, Leviticus wait a minute. Well, it's all in Netherlands, which normally it's not, but it's okay. Well, I'll just read this. The book of Leviticus is the third book of the Torah and of the Old Testament. Scholars generally agree that it developed over a long period of time, reaching its present form during the Persian period between 538 to 332 BC. So, there you go. And then if I go to well, anyways, if you want to look up the meanings of each of these books, just do that. I don't want to do this because it's going to take too long. But anyways, okay, so just look up Leviticus. Just look them all up. Exodus and the books of Moses and what they mean and what people say they mean. And now, so we're going to read. Now the Lord, God, please give us a lesson out of this Bible today. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Amen. Now the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of the livestock, of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own free will at the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. Then he shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the Lord. So they have to give up something important to make atonement, right? It's atonement. I think we already looked it up, but it's just easier. Definition. Then. Reparation for an offense or injury. Reparation for a wrongdoing or something like this. So, just like us, we have to make atonement for the things we do wrong by giving stuff up. That's important to us. So that could be your time, or my hair, or it could be fasting, or serving, but it's giving something up. And it can't be like we talked about, not giving up broccoli, if you don't like broccoli. But it has to be something important. To make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the Lord, and the priest, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood all around on the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle meeting. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. Then the priest, Aaron's son, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order on the wood that it is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar as a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering is of the flocks, of the sheep, or of the goats, as a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring a male without blemish. He shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. My lips, I don't know what's, the older I get, the harder it is for me to form words. Crazy. And he shall cut it into its pieces with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. Then the priest shall bring it all and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And what happens when you burn something, right? You burn it completely. Well, then it's clean, right? It's all burnt, it's all clean, and when you cook something like lamb or beef or whatever, it does have this aroma that is it's a nice aroma. I mean, I know there's a lot of vegetarians that will say, that some people have somehow change something in the Bible where everybody's supposed to be a vegetarian, but that's not what it says in the Bible. But anyways, and if the burnt sacrifice of his offering to the Lord is of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off its head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out at the side of the altar, and he shall remove its crop with its feathers and cast it beside the altar on the east side into the place for ashes. Then he shall split it at its wings, but shall not divide it completely, and the priest shall burn it on the altar on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And I did not know that people ate pigeons. But a lot of people do. And because we moved to Belgium and people here eat pigeon, and I thought, oh, yeah, but actually it's pretty decent. When anyone offers a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, one of whom shall take from it his handful of fine flour and oil with all the frankincense. And the priest shall burn it as a memorial on the altar, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by fire. And if you bring as an offering a grain offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. But if your offering is a grain offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. You shall break it into pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering baked in a covered pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. You shall bring the grain of the offering that is made of these things to the Lord, and when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. Now you have to remember, at this time, these animals and this flour, this fine flour, that was very precious, because it took a heck of a long time to take that wheat and turn it into flour. They didn't waste any flour back then. So, that's why I say today we have to give up other things. We have plenty of bread. We have plenty of meat. This is nothing special for us. We're not having to work that hard to get ourselves some food. But so we have to give up things that are special to us, that are that we spoil ourselves with, you know. You shall bring the grain of offering that is made of these things to the Lord, and when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. Then the priest shall take from the grain offering a memorial portion and burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And what is left of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by the fire. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven. For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in an offering to the Lord made by fire. As for the offering of the first fruits, you shall offer them to the Lord, but they shall not be burned on the altar for a sweet aroma. And every offering of your grain offering you shall season with salt. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. And why salt, right? Salt was also very special. And what does he talk about the salt? If you have, if the salt has no flavor anymore, which would be our people without spirit, right? Then what is the point? Or people who do believe in Jesus but aren't making any effort, right? If you offer a grain offering of your first fruits to the Lord, you shall offer for the grain offering of your first fruits green heads of grain roasted on the fire, grain beaten from full heads. And you shall put oil on it and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. Then the priest shall burn the memorial portion, part of its beaten grain and part of its oil, with all the frankincense of an offering made by fire to the Lord. Okay, so let me just go ahead and read 3 because we have time. When his offering is a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offers it of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by the fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is on the wood that is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And remember, it's unleavened because Jesus has not risen from the dead, right? If his offering as a sacrifice of peace offering to the Lord is of the flock, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb of his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting, and Aaron's son shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering as an offering made by the fire to the Lord, its fat and the whole fat tail, which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails. The 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire to the Lord. And if his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. He shall lay his hands on its head and kill it before the tabernacle meeting, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. Then he shall offer from it his offering as an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma. All the fat is the Lord's. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations. In all your dwellings you shall eat neither fat nor blood. So we are not, I believe personally, supposed to eat the fat or the blood. I know that we do, but we're supposed to cook our food. And the reason I believe, personally, is that it's a cleansing process. And our food is supposed to be clean when we eat it. And he's going into great description to describe exactly how you're supposed to clean these animals so that people would understand it. And that there was no mistake on this, right? That this is how you're supposed to clean these animals. And if it's an offering, they have to be cleaned correctly, because everything about the way God does things is perfect. He has perfect instructions. And when you do things his way, then things will work out for you, because his plan is perfect. So we have to remember this, and the reason why there are so many suffering is because so many of us haven't listened to God, and we haven't been there praying like we should. We haven't opened our eyes and our ears to those in need. We've been selfish in helping those in need. We've been lazy about figuring out where our money should go to help who, and I give the money to this, not even knowing where it's going. So it's very important that we make an effort to help those who need the help, not just, I donate to such and such, right? Okay, so that was Leviticus 1, 2, and 3. Very exciting.